This is MMA Oddsbreaker. Okay, time to get rolling on today's Oddsbreaker segment. Let me introduce the first guest, a columnist from ESPN.com, Brett Okamoto. Brett, welcome to the show.
Hey, Nick. Thanks for having me.
Also joining us today from Pro MMA Radio and UFC on Fox Radio, Larry Pepe. Larry, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nick. Good to be here.
All right, both of you guys are very familiar with how the show works, but for those who don't, let me quickly explain. Our sponsored sportsbook, BetDSI, has donated a 5K bankroll to both guys. They get to select either a favorite or the underdog on 4 fights that I've selected today. Now, 3 affect the bankroll and 1 does not. Let's start off with the first fight. It comes to us from UFC on Fuel TV 4. It's a location to be announced, actually, but it's a battle between James Te Huna and Brandon Vera at the light heavyweight division. We're going to start off with Brett first. Brett, I'm going to open this fight up very competitive, minus 165 for Brandon Vera. The comeback on Te Huna is going to be plus 135. What's your take and what's your bet?
Well, I love the plus 135 on Te Huna. Right now, I think he's the better fighter than Brandon Vera. I know that Brandon Vera is a household name. So I think, that'll affect the line. People will see, well, this guy's a veteran and he's had some big fights in his career. He's headlined cards and he's fighting this guy that I don't know much about. But Te Huna is a good fighter. He's a good inside fighter. He's got a good chin, so I think that he can kind of stand up to anything that Brandon throws at him. And I don't know if the same thing applies to Brandon. James will get on the inside and throw some of those uppercuts that he's had some success with. And, I would actually favor Te Huna in the fight, so I'm going to put my money on him.
Okay, so Brett is going to go with the slight underdog in James Te Huna, and we'll get Larry's thoughts on this. Larry, do you agree with Brett or disagree?
Yeah, I agree. Listen, this isn't the Brandon Vera who was tearing through the heavyweight division. This is the Brandon Vera who's 4-3 at 205. Nobody that he's beaten at 205 has survived being cut by the UFC. His mental edge seems to me to be gone. He doesn't pull the trigger like he used to. He's a very talented guy. Unfortunately, we really haven't seen that talent in the cage in quite some time. Te Huna, on the other hand, reminds me a lot of a guy named Thiago Silva, who manhandled Vera. One of Vera's problems is he's a slow starter. That's deadly against Te Huna. He's got 7 first-round finishes, very aggressive. I think he's the physically stronger fighter. I think he's in the right place mentally, too much power. I think Vera struggles with him all day. I like Te Huna in this fight straight out, let alone as an underdog.
All right, so both of our experts agree on James Te Huna. It's going to be 500 to win 675, and we're going to see how this line plays out. I think we could see a drop to a pick'em, or Te Huna could be the slight betting favorite as we get closer to fight day.
Well, that's it for another episode of MMA Oddsbreakers. You can look for the odds that Nick broke right here on the show to start popping up at the sport books throughout the week. And I want to send a big special thanks to our 2 guests, Brett Okamoto and Larry Pepe. Great information, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. Terrific show. And for all the latest updates on the MMA Oddsbreaker show, make sure you check us out on Twitter at MMA Oddsbreaker. For Miguel Iturrate, I'm Nick Kalika saying until next time, enjoy the fights.